Okay, I greet the Church of God in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Okay, we had a system in place. Muruti just disorganized everything. He was supposed to start while I prepare myself. But anyway, it's okay. I'm here already. So my name is Kgapuru Matheba. I'm a medical doctor by profession. So I'm one of the people that Pastor had requested to come and share about my journey into becoming a medical doctor. And I was thinking about it during the week, and I was like, wow, there's a lot. I don't even know how to make this in a 10-minute speech. Oh, and then I promised myself I'm going to time myself because I need to 10 minutes, I mean the whole hour, because I can actually do that. Okay. So basically, to be honest, I don't even remember when did I decide that I wanted to be a doctor. But I remember that when I went into high school, initially I wanted to be a chartered accountant. So that was the first thing that I wanted to do. So when I started standard 6, no grades, you can convert it to grades. I did standard. So when I did standard 6, 7, I did commercial subjects because I was planning to become a chartered accountant. And then along the way, I just felt like, no, I actually want to be a doctor. I felt the need to work with people, to help people, and just to serve God in that space. Amen? Amen. Then that's when I decided to change my subjects and then start doing physics, biology, in preparation for me to make sure that I have all the subjects that I needed to register for an MBCHP degree, which is Masters of Medicine and Surgery. Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Surgery, sorry. Yeah. Okay, Masters of Medicine is what I'm doing currently, so that's why I'm getting confused. I'm still studying even now. So I completed my matric at the age of 16. And how that came about was that my mom got married when I was about 4 or 5 years. And then where we were staying, there was a crèche that I was attending. And then where she got married, there was no preschool or crèche. So basically, and she was going to school, she was going to do teaching. So they basically requested that I can join the standard 1. Just because there's no preschool, I can just pass time basically in that class. And then in the middle of the year, my mom was called. She was told that I'm doing well. So she can start buying me uniform, because I was not even wearing uniform, because I was basically in a preschool, but in standard 1. In standard 1? No, sub A, sorry, sub A. So then she bought the uniform. That's how it started, and that's how I started my grade 1 at the age of 5. Don't worry, I won't bore you with all the details about grade 1 until matric. I just wanted to tell you how it came about that at the age of 16 that I completed matric. So when I finished, obviously, I was doing well in high school, and I thought that I had everything together. I thought that I was going to get there and then get to do medicine straight away. That's what I thought. Then I applied, when you do matric, you apply to all these universities in South Africa. I applied, most of them rejected, and only Medunsa, it was Medunsa at that time. Now it's Sefako Makgato University. At that time it was Medunsa. So they accepted me, but not for the course that I wanted to do, not for medicine. I didn't qualify. And I was shattered, because obviously I thought that I was doing well. I thought that, and then in my mind I'm 16, and then medicine is 6 years. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I'll be a doctor, I'll be completing at the age of 22. So I'll be a very young doctor. That's what happened in my mind. And now when I realized that I wasn't going to be able to do that, my dreams were shattered at that moment. And then they were like, no, you can still do BSc, and then if you manage to get 2 distinctions in your first year of medicine, because basically, in your first year of BSc, because basically, first year of BSc and first year of medicine, they do the same courses. So they were like, if you manage to get 2 distinctions, you can still go to medicine second year. Then I was like, okay, this is doable. Then I got there, geared up to get this 2 distinctions so that I can continue with this Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery. Then the next thing, like when Mr. Penta was talking last week, I was actually laughing when she said that come first term, he had failed everything. That was me. Then first term come, supposed to go home for Easter holidays, literally got less than 40% in all the subjects. And I was like, okay, my goodness, I'm trying to get 2 distinctions here, and then I'm getting less than 40%. How am I even going to get this distinction? This is not going to happen. So like, I guess started to get very frustrated that, okay, it doesn't look like this is going to go the way that I have intended it to go. Then I realized that I'm going to have to change my strategy. Like the way you study when you are in high school and the way you study when you get to university, those are 2 different things. So I realized that as much as I was doing well in primary and high school, I was actually just doing the bare minimum. And now the hard work actually starts, and I really needed to put in the work. I did put in the work, but I still managed to get just 1 distinction, not 2. So now, like, I'm frustrated again. Then it's like, okay, you can still continue with BSc until you finish. And then when you finish, then we'll take you for medicine. Then now everything now is derailed. I'm like, but now that means 3 years of doing a course that I actually don't like, just for me to get to medicine. And that for me was like I had to speak to my parents. Also, you're thinking it's a whole lot of money that is involved. I'm gonna have to do 3 years of this degree and then still do 6 years of medicine. That's like 9 years of my life. So time, money, everything involved, I was like, I'm not sure anymore. So maybe I'll just do this BSc and stop and just go and work. Then I continued with BSc. I completed my degree in record time. And I remember when I finished, I was conflicted in between whether to continue now with just making a future or a career out of the BSc that I already have, or now to start afresh, because basically that meant starting from scratch, starting from first year with medicine. And I remember I was like praying about it, talking to my parents about it, and like this verse came to me, Jeremiah 29, verse 11. That for I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. The plans to prosper you and not to harm you. The plans to give you hope and a future. So I was like, my future is already ordained. God already knows about this. So as much as frustrating as it is, I know that I don't want to end here. This is not what I wanted when I started. So I'm still going to forge on and continue and still do this medicine. Even if it means now it's going to take 9 years instead of 6 years, I'm still going to continue doing it. So Pastor said I should share about my life journey and then also talk about some of the qualities that are needed for somebody who wants to study medicine, basically. So I'll say, after what I've said, I'll say that you need to be a hard worker. You need to be a hard worker. And the hard work doesn't start when you get to university. The hard work starts when you are still in school. Because that is what is going to set you apart. Because that is what is going to make sure that you get to do what you want, like the course that you want to register for that course from first year. You need to work hard. So being hardworking, that is what is needed for you. And the next thing I'll say that being resilient as well. Because our work involves there's just a lot going on. A lot of sleepless nights, studying, calls, being on call for like over 30 hours on your feet. So you really need to be resilient, even from when you decide to do that career. Because if you are not that resilient, I promise you, come internship time, you're going to quit, because it's just a lot. So being resilient. And then also, when I was thinking about that and talking to God about that, I realized that sometimes we need to understand that our plans are not God's plans. So I had planned that I'm going to start with medicine and I'm going to complete my MBCHP degree at the age of 22. But basically, that's not the plans that God had for my life. And I believe that there was a reason for me why I had to go through what I went through for me to become a doctor. Then after that, Medunta, they did not want to take me for medicine as well. Now it was frustrating as well. They took me for medicine at University of Natal at that time. Now it's UKZN. I went there for like a week or 2 weeks. Then Medunta called, say we have a space for you. I never wanted to go outside of Gauteng at that time in my life. So I packed back and then came back after 2 weeks go back to Medunsa and I started my MBCB journey. So the journey into becoming a doctor, to be honest, it's just a lot. It's so stressful. There's a lot of, and the thing is, what I've also realized is that you learn under very toxic situation or circumstances. A lot of seniors are very condescending, during the ward round, they'll call you names, they'll say very ugly things in front of the patients and in front of your colleagues. So that on its own, you really have to take care of your own mental health and then reach out for help, because I can tell you that there are people that we started with and some people ended up committing suicide because of the strenuous training that we had to go through. So when you're there, you have to make sure that you lean to the Lord, you really ask God for guidance, your family, you have a great support system. And then, when you're not okay, you reach out for help, because there is help, but sometimes you don't even know how to access that kind of help. So then I did medicine. That was about, I did the whole, so it took, I finished it in record time. The training, I'm saying, first year, much better. Second year, you start going to dissection hall where you basically get dead bodies. Sorry for those who are not, who think that is gross, but yeah, then basically that's how you practice. That's how you see which part of where the kidney is, where the lung is, where everything else is. And some people, second year, then they decide, this is not for me. After that one incident at the dissection hall, you decide, no, I can't do this. Then if you can pass that, you're like, okay, at least it means I'm in the right track. Then you continue. Fourth year, fifth year, final year, you're mostly in the hospital doing practical, and that's where it becomes so strenuous. You don't sleep. Sometimes you're on call for 24 hours and you still need to come and go and attend lessons. So it's just a lot of gruesome, strenuous training that takes a lot from you. So after that, then you become an intern. Then I became and the other thing that I wanted to say is that when you are there, go university, I don't even know how to say it in English, but there is no one to take care of you. There is no one who's looking after you. You do as you please. If you decide you don't want to go to classes for the whole month, no one's going to take the phone and call your family and say you are not attending. It's not high school. So if you go there and you actually forget the reasons why you went there, you're going to leave that place with no degree, unfortunately. Yes. I'm saying this because they said I should speak to the young people that are still going to go to varsity and all that. Because parties and everything else, they're all there and they're still here even now. So if you want to do them, you can still do them even now. Not saying that you should not have any social life, but you should be able to balance, because you don't want to go there, your parents are struggling to get you to school, and then you go there and then at the end of 6 years, you don't have anything to show for it. I remember there were people that I was used to when I was in my first year, second year, and then one of them the other day told me that we left our mothers at home, so please don't try and be our mom here. We don't need you to be now monitoring us and all that. And then I don't want to say how did the story end, but you can all, imagine what happened. So after that, then I became the intern. I thought the training to become a doctor was a lot until I became an intern. They used to say interns are the donkeys of medicine, and they literally meant that. You are everything. And the thing is, this week, you are an MBCB 6 student, you are a final year student, and then next week, all of a sudden, you are Dr. Okay, I was Dr. Mashish. You are Dr. Mashish at that time. I remember my first call, and then they called, and they're hi, doc. We have an emergency in casualty, and then you're looking for this doc that they this doctor that they're calling, because you're okay, so yesterday I was just Sarah, Kgapuru, and then today I'm a doctor and I'm supposed to be treating someone. Yeah. And then that's where you also realize that you need to work as a team, you need to respect the nurses as well, because they have a lot of experience and they will teach you a lot. So if you get there and you're no, you're not doctor, and you're going to drop very quick. So you need to get there, you need to respect people, you need to be humble. And some of the qualities that I can say you need to be very passionate about what you do. You need to love what you do. and you need to be very empathic. The thing is, we deal with people, so if you're not empathic, if you're not passionate about what you do, you're going to get tired. Family comes every day, they complain. When family lose their loved ones, they're always looking for someone to blame. That you must know. And then the person to blame is either the nurse or the doctor. You did something wrong. Whether the person that they brought was not taking medication, they brought the person late, it's your fault somehow. But you still need to remain professional, you still need to remain calm, you still need to remain empathic even in that situation. Even when they come and screaming at you, you have to understand that I'm the professional in this circumstance and I need to deal with the situation in a professional manner. And also being empathic, because being empathic now, it makes you to understand, to put yourself in that person's shoes, that this person is somebody's mother, this person is somebody's sister, somebody's daughter, somebody's friend. And then how would I have wanted to be treated if I was on that bed? Because I promise you, some of our calls, they're so strenuous that at the end of your call, like sometimes you start your call now at 8 o'clock in the morning and you only leave the hospital tomorrow at like 3 or 4, like more than 30 hours on your feet. So by the time you get to like the 30th hour or the 24th hour, you don't want to talk to anyone. You are irritated, you are hungry. Sometimes you don't even get a chance to actually sit and have something to eat. You don't want to see anyone, you don't want to talk to anyone, you are irritated. And it's very easy now to be very dismissive and then be very rude and whatever like that. But when that comes, you need to go back and remember why you chose this career. And you need to go back and remember that this is somebody's daughter, this is somebody's aunt, this is somebody's mother. Would I want to be treated like that if I was that patient? So when that comes, you still need to, okay, I'm here, and then I decided that I want to help the people. So, but it's very stressful. There's a lot of things happening now lately with all this litigation, because the lawyers, sorry if there's any lawyer in the house, now they realize that they cannot target people with road accident fund, because now all those things are very tight now, so they can't make money from that. They're going after the doctors. That is the reality. So that on its own, now you're treating people, but now you have the stress that should anything happen, they're going to come after me. They're going to sue me. That is on its own, it affects you mentally. So a lot of medical students and a lot of doctors actually have a lot of mental health issues because of everything, the stress that comes with your job, the things that you see, having to break all those bad news to the family and to the patients and everyone else. So you need to take care of yourself. And currently, I'm busy pursuing a specialization in psychiatry, so I'm doing masters in psychiatry. I've been doing that for like a few years now. I don't even know if I want to talk about that, because it's still very sore and still very... I think last week when Mrs. Mama Bolo was talking about the things that she went through to actually finish her research, it actually reminded me of my own journey, because that's where I am currently. And like you feel like you're just hitting a brick after brick, and then things are just not going the way you want them to go. But I'm still very hopeful. I still believe that as long as I'm still here and then I still have God, God has already went before me, and then this as well will come to pass. And then I think maybe in the next few years I'll come back and give a testimony about that. Like I said, there's a lot that I can say, but the time is not on my side. Thank you so much. Wow.